Well, the pandemic has spurred a number of surprising changes over the past couple of years. We've had to deal with inflation, the Great Resignation, and a significant drop in college enrollment. According to data compiled by the National Clearinghouse Research Center, since the start of the pandemic, enrollment has dropped by nearly 1 million students. That's a 5.1% drop from the fall of 2019. Question is that such a bad thing? Or is this maybe a needed turning point? Joining me now to help answer this, two young voices we love to have on, Emily Jashinsky and Braxton Brewington. Emily, let's start with you on this one. What do you think is going on here? Do you think kids are maybe understanding that maybe they want to wait a little while before they get into college? They don't want to go remote with COVID. What's happening, do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. I think, this is a great week to be talking about it, too, because American Compass, which is a right of center organization that looks at some of these issues, came out with a study on it this week where they crunched the numbers and found about half of students who enroll in four-year college, only about half complete it, and about 40% who do complete it end up in jobs where college was not necessary for that position to begin with. And so I think we had our entire system of K through 12 education geared towards college for a reason, because that used to be sort of the gateway to the middle class. And we know it's not anymore. We know it's a gateway to some average of like $30,000 in student loan debt. And you have to pay that off in jobs that may not have required the debt in the first place. So I think the pandemic has sort of induced a long overdue rethinking on this question.
Braxton, do you think this has become more of a money decision for students and young folks? Because as we know, there are a lot of, Emily just hinted at it, a lot of good jobs out there that don't require a college degree.
Well, I think that's true. I think that was actually a really good case for student loan debt cancellation, right? The reality is 40% of people who actually have student loan debt don't even have their college degree. And that's a vast majority of that is due to the fact that they couldn't afford to finish school.
Oh, wow.
So I think what we need to do is actually make college free. And I think there's some confusion that people think the movement for free college means forced college, right? We're not saying that. If college is not a path for you or that's not an experience you want to have, I think that's totally fine, and you can enter into the labor market with just K through 12 education. But the reality is that education is way too costly, and so that's the problem that's actually disproportionately driving these dropout rates.
Yeah, Emily, the thing that it almost sounds like you don't have to go to college and that's okay. That just seems like something we don't really hear, right? I mean, you touched on that, but I mean, I can tell you from real life experience, the trades are an absolutely golden opportunity for folks, who are out there and want to learn and they're ambitious. I can tell you, anybody knows you have an electrician, a plumber, a framer, you name it, a roofer, come to your house, you're going to pay them.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I grew up in suburban Milwaukee, and I remember in our public school, K through 12, it was all about college. College was held up as this norm that if you didn't achieve college, if you didn't get into college, and if you didn't finish college, you were in some way not accomplishing the mission of your life. And that is terrible messaging. It's unnecessary messaging. It devalues excellent work in the trade sectors that can be extremely fulfilling and lucrative. And so it's just we've been putting people on this total path towards debt and towards unrealized expectations that is basically just a subsidy for big ed, which I think is properly considered that way. It is an industry, and these subsidies prop the industry up. And that's, we have to do something about the cost of education, and
right.
Continuing to make it less expensive, I don't think, and continuing to have the government funded, I don't think is a good answer. I think that's just a bailout for big ed.
Braxton, I know you're a big anti-debt guy. I know this is part of why we like having you on to talk about these things. But is there a line, I guess, where do you need to make the decision whether either A, this is worth it for me to go to college and take out a loan, or does it depend on how much debt you have in the end and what your job's going to be and how long it's going to take you to pay it off?
Well, what I think Emily and I agree on is that the cost of education is completely unaffordable, right? If you are rich, you can afford to go to college if you're in the top 10%, but everyone else, there's a question of is higher education actually a good deal? And so what I think is what we need to do is make college free. And this question on, should the government be paying for it? Absolutely. But there's also proposals out there, right? We could easily impose a small financial transaction tax on Wall Street. And, we've given Wall Street their bailout. I agree. It's time we give the 99% their bailout as well. So why don't we fund tuition-free college, and then we can give folks the opportunity to, if the job market that they're trying to enter in requires a college degree, then that's something they can pursue. And if not, if they want to, take some other type of career path, then they can do that as well.
Emily, until we get to that point, how do you make this decision if you're, say, 17 or 18 years old and don't really know what you want to do?
Yeah, I mean, I think we really need to reduce the stigma of the trades that has built up over the course of the last 3 decades, where we were devaluing them by overvaluing college and making it seem as though this was the necessary thing you must do to achieve the American dream and enter adulthood. And so I think, people need to sort of do that in their own lives, look around in their own communities and see what jobs, not just in the trades, but other professions that you don't need a college education to do, and whether the money is worth what will happen in the 4 years after those 4 years of college. And so it's something people need to think long and hard about on their own personal decisions, and that our institutions need to reevaluate the way they've treated college.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to talk with you both, Emily Jashinsky and Braxton Brewington. Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.